Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We asked ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
I am who I am. One black man, my hand in God's hand, trusting in that word because that word never fails me. When you see me, I come as one, but I stand as 1,000,000. You'll catch that on your way out. This is the You Are the Light podcast. I am your host, Chris, aka C Millie. They call me C Millie because I'm about to touch a millie. Ayy. Hey man, we about to get into it. We about to run it back. So nice, we had to run it back twice. I got my man, the Minister Silas in the building once again, and we gonna continue the conversation, man. It was so delightful the last time, bro. I had to, run it back. But tonight we're doing it a little different, man. Tonight we gonna do it live for the people too. So we're gonna get the people a live show on Facebook at the same time. So
Okay.
my man. But for those of them that don't know you, do me a favor real quick and introduce yourself to the people.
I am Silas Wilmore. I reside in the Dallas area, DeSoto to be specific, and by way of Louisiana. I have to represent my Louisiana roots. That's a part of who I am. And man, I'm just a servant. I just go out, minister through Metro Fellowship, and help with young adults, teenagers, and just try to serve any way that I can. Try to be a light, like you often preach, and try to see if I can make a difference while I'm here. And so that's just enough about me right there. There's a lot of more different details, but when you kind of break it down and get down to the nitty gritty, that's pretty much who I am. I would say, just to be a little bit more specific, I'm a bridge builder between the older generation and the new generation, and also a bridge builder to grow more in the Lord. If I'm gonna be completely right down to the bare nuts and bolts of it, and so if there's any misunderstanding or if there's any confusion, I try to kind of help bridge that to get better understanding. I'm real big on knowledge, understanding, and then taking that and applying it by wisdom and just taking what you know, understanding it, and doing something about it based off of what you know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the way, man. That is the way. That is the way. The first thing you said, man, was you a servant, and that's most important. Um, the first thing that I want to hear from God is well done. Nothing else. I don't hear nothing else. And the only way we can do that is to be a servant. So definitely appreciate you, man, for not only coming once but coming back again and continuing to share your light, man, to the people because it's major.
Man, I'm glad to be here. I think you're doing an awesome thing with what you have going, and so any way that I can support, man, I'm here for you.
Yes, sir. Got the glasses on because y'all are so bright. 40,000, man. 40,000 is the view. 40,000. And it's major. It's to the point where God is guiding in a real way right now. I put myself in position, and I planted a seed, and I'm now receiving the fruition of what I planted. Getting the growth, and it's an amazing thing. And I mentioned planting the seed because the last that we spoke, bro, actually left off. Probably wasn't here, but where I want to pick back up, man, is where
Okay.
you was talking about the garden, and you had mentioned that we are a representation of what we put in our mind, and that's been sticking and that's been resonating with me since you said it, bro. So I wanted to touch back off on that. But before we even jump into it, we are in the process of talking about the 12 riches of life. We started this last month and kicked it off with the positive mental attitude, which is the first of the 12 riches of life. Without the positive mental attitude, you cannot achieve, you cannot get, you cannot do anything as far as the other 12 riches of life goes. And it's pivotal because with anything that you're doing in your life, if it's something of substance, if it's something that's going to be here a long time, if it's something that's going to be of importance for a long time, you have to have a positive mental attitude. And the reason why that is because positive attract positive. But that leads into what we're talking about now as far as sound physical health and the importance of one's body to encounter to one's mind. And that's pretty much where we left off at last time. You were discussing basically you look like what you put in.
Yes.
You know, and give the people a little energy that way real quick, baby.
Oh yeah, well, I agree, and I believe that wholeheartedly. That what people see on the outside is a representation of what's on the inside. A lot of people focus on the outside, and they can see the appearance, if your skin's good, if you, just all types of different things, how your physique, from going to the gym, all of those things are actually a factor, a result of something that was going on the inside. That whether you're eating right, that's probably a large percentage of how you get the body that you're looking for, and also the results of eating right and the mind having the right thoughts, having the right mindset, having the right attitude is you see the results of that outwardly. And so last week we talked about the mind being like a garden. That's a lot of different speakers talk about that. One famous book was by James Allen, As a Man Thinketh, just talking about the mind being a garden, and if you don't tend that garden, then everything that has been sown into your mind, if you don't tend to it, you'll start to see some things grow from that. And what happens is you start to conform to those thoughts that have been sitting there growing, and you start doing things that you see, that you hear. And so it's vital that we make sure that we tend to our garden. Got old school right there. That's that Louisiana coming out in me. Kind of born and raised around farm in the middle of a big tons of acres of cornfield. I often reference a lot of different things to farming.
Yeah.
Even throughout the scriptures, you see you reap what you sow, and it also says God is not mocked. So it's a written rule that whatever you sow, that you'll reap. So we're just using that rule and applying it to our mind. The things that are sown into our mind, you'll see the results of those things, whether it be good or whether it be bad, or a mixture. You'll see some good come out of it. You see some bad come out of it. If you were to tend to those bad things and as best as you can, you'll start to see some positive effects to this. And I'm convinced that this can be transferred into the physical health if you have the right mindset. And we'll talk about that in a moment.
Man, it goes hand in hand. Like you have to have a health consciousness if you're gonna be healthy. It's vital. If you're gonna take this journey that's going to counterpult you into being the best version of yourself, it starts here, man. You can't do nothing without putting it there first. The things one can achieve if they understood what their appearances is good for and what their appearances do.
I was just going to ask you a question about that, because I feel like that's important as well. Like, what is your response to someone or one of those young ones that feel like, okay, their response to you when you initially say that is, oh man, I can dress the way I want to dress. I can dress how I want to dress. This is how I feel. What is your response to that?
We talking about young men, right?
Yes.
All right. So me being me being the guy that I am, I'ma always keep it real with them. You know what I'm saying? And I was once a young man in high school. So I know where they're at. Don't no young lady want to see that, bro. You gotta be presentative. You gotta be, when you think about this, when you trying to walk up to your next lady or your next girlfriend or whatever, you think she gonna want to see you in some pajamas, or you think she want to see you, you know what I'm saying, dressed up? I go into it telling no story, and this is honest to God truth, bro. I've been working for AT&T. AT&T was the only corporate America job that I had coming out of college. I got a master's degree in communication. They helped me obtain that. They paid for some of my master's degree. My first year or so in AT&T, after 6 months, after the first initial 6 months of being excited to have a career or a job, I started to take in my mind what everybody else was putting out. Oh, I hate Mondays. Oh, it's Monday. I don't want to do this on a Monday. Da 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 da. Bet. So me being me, no lie, I started putting on suits. I used to wear a suit, and this is every Monday. I put on a suit from head to toe, tied. I'm talking about crispy. I used to get compliment after compliment after compliment after compliment after compliment, and my Mondays were enjoyable. It shortened my work week, but it also made me realize the importance of looking presentable.
I love that. I have a similar story. I used to work at Chase Bank, corporate Chase Bank home lending. Shout out to all the Louisiana folks. It was a big building, 700 of us there, 7 floors. And hey, the culture was just kind of, they wore their regular clothes and everything. You had to kind of semi dress up, but it wasn't like just up there. I grew up wearing suits to elementary. Picture day, I brought my suit in to change clothes because my folks didn't. I mean, it was just something about dressing nice that I enjoy. And when you dress nice, you get the compliments. It helps you just your whole day go by when everybody, oh, I like that. That looks good and everything. I'm telling you, it's something about when you dress up that people just see. Yep. And it goes back to what we talked about. But before I do that, let me finish the rest of that little story that I was saying. So I was dressing up suits every day, just about. I mean, it was, I had to cycle through some suits, but it was a shirt and tie if it wasn't a suit.
Combo.
After about a few weeks, the supervisor was like, hey, I like what you're doing because I see that some of the others are dressing up as well. You get so many compliments that others take notice and start to dress up as well. They start to dress up, and next thing you know, the entire floor is dressing up. It goes back to what we talked about the last episode, where if you can't force something to change, then there are some things that you can adjust that they have to adapt to you, or else they're just going to get left behind. But most times, out of many, you're going to see them adjust to what you are doing, whether they hate or whatever the case may be. There's going to be something that's going to cause some type of effect by you doing what you're doing. Thanks. And I'm telling you, man, it works every time.
Hey. So you say that with the dress, and it makes me think about basketball. I relate everything to basketball because I'm a basketball player, but it makes me think about my Boston Celtics right now today with the way Jason Tatum is. So JT been in the league 6 or 7 years, you know what I'm saying, and he's definitely not the individual that he was when he came into the league, right? So he's coming to the league, and he has now stamped his name into the leadership aspect, right? So this individual will play a whole game. Take for example, last night they went into overtime with Indiana. That's 40 plus minutes of basketball. After he play a whole game of basketball plus, he's then going into the weight room. And wow. He's been doing that since he was, a rookie, coming out of Duke. He's been doing that since then. And he's, for as long as he's been able to put it on Snapchat, he's been putting it on Snap. Wow. And now I'm seeing, at first when he was doing it, it was just him and his trainer. And now he's got Grant and everybody, not everybody, but others that be doing it with him. So that's just exactly what you're saying about, people adapting.
Yeah.
And with them, people are adapting with him, and now they're the number one team in the NBA.
See? It's so like when you tell that story, everything else is just coming up in my head. That's what happens. That's the effect, man. Like people will adjust to what you're doing. And it also gives you the edge. Edge, that's a whole nother episode. I ain't gonna get too far in it. But an edge is what traders, that's how they get off. That's what they get off on. Like whenever you're day trading or foreign exchange trading, there's something called an edge. And what the edge is that there's different points in a trade during the stock market that you're dealing with where you can go in either buying or selling. Mm-hmm. The edge is what you have that's going to either win the bid or you lose the bid. So basically what you do is you do all of your research, you do all of your charts and your markings and your due diligence, which is basically just seeing when is the best time to get in on the trade.
Okay.
Now, all of your research, all of the different things that you do extra is what you call your edge. You go in and whenever you see that your edge is in a good position, that's when you place your bid. And so that can be factored in through sports, like with Jason Tatum, Kobe Bryant, like we talked about once before, where he practices 4 times versus the 2 times that other people were practicing. So due to the multiplying times within about a year or two, there's a large number of times that he worked out compared to how many others. That's his edge. Mm-hmm. Anything that gives you the edge over someone, that's what the edge is. Now, how does this factor into what we're talking about? Dressing up. Dude, Deion Sanders, prime time, he says this: if you look good, you play good. If you play good, no, hold on, I think I skipped some. If you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you play good. Yeah. If you play good, the pay is good. Yeah. I mean, dude, there's some things that we just can't control, man. Mm-hmm. And so you have to find the edge, the good edge, And so dressing up, man, I guarantee you, if you dress nice, you'll get an edge over people because it's going to be a lot of people that just don't want to do it. You say, well, maybe, that's not me. Dressing up isn't me. Well, find your edge, man. But I would encourage you to at least try and make an attempt. That's going to be your edge over everybody else that doesn't want to dress up, man. It's a mindset.
Do something that don't nobody else want to do.
Exactly.
That's the separation.
It's how I stayed at all of my jobs as long as I did. Everything, I try to find the thing that everybody else hates doing, which is like paperwork. It's exhaustive things that take time, that are tedious. I try to do those things, and by the numbers, I get the edge because they see I have a positive attitude about my work. They see that I am willing to do the things that the others don't do. And so it just works.
Man, the edge. Talking about Kobe. And now that you say that, I just want to reference Kobe and it's many others. But just talking about that Kobe thing and how he got his edge, bro, it only makes sense. It only makes sense. Because people in the sports of basketball, they're not doing no more than 2-a-days, bro. They're not. They're not. A two a day is a killer. You know what I'm saying? A 2-a-day, for real, bro. A 2-a-day is a killer, especially with my coach, my college coach. Shout out to Coach Gray, man. But a 2-a-day is it's killer. Period, point blank. And for this man to double up, not add 1, but he added 2 additional workouts to his days, on top of having a whole family. This man was working out 4 times a day and still spending time with his girls and his wife. What?
Hey, that's impressive, man.
Bro was getting up at 3:00 in the morning. 3:00 in the morning, working out from 4 to 5, going back home, eating, getting his girls up, getting them ready for their day, going back to work from 8 or 9 to 10, you know, having lunch, hanging out for a little bit, going back to work from 3 to 4, going home, spending time with his girls, going back to work from 7 to 8. Bruh.
That's some discipline right there.
Ooh, there it is. There it is. That's that word, bro. That's that word. That word discipline, dude, is the separation, bro. At the end of the day, it's the separation. That's the edge.
Exactly.
That's the edge, because a person that wants to be successful in whatever field, whatever they want to do, bro, they're disciplined. Because I guarantee you, life is gonna happen. Life has already happened. They're human. They don't want to do. I don't care. I don't care what. Especially a basketball player. Let me hold on. To all of those that want to play professional sports, think about this. It's killer. It's gonna be the hardest thing you've ever done in your life. It's gonna take so much, boy, focus, discipline. You talking about the top 1% type ordeal in the world. You know what I'm saying? In any professional sport, like football, you got a little bit more chance. But even as a football player, like they got a 53-man team roster, but only 12 people playing.
Right.
You have to have discipline, bro. And that's why when I go out right now, what I'm doing as far as my speaking and stuff goes, I don't even say I'm a motivational speaker. You know, motivational speaker, it only goes so far. I'm a disciplined speaker. And I'm not just going out here just to talk. I'm literally setting up mentoring programs because I want to watch these kids grow, bro. That's the main thing.
Wow. I think that's great what you're doing.
That's the main thing, bro. I want to be able to, the same way I look back over my life since I was 11, 12 years old to where I'm at now, looking up to my mentor, I want to be able to say the same thing about somebody else. And don't get me wrong, I got 200 on my own, but I need somebody to watch them, if that makes sense.
Right.
I need them to grow up with the crew, because I ain't going to always be there.
Exactly. Like we did. And it just passes on to the next generation. If we don't step up, who is going to be a mentor to our youth and to the next generation? There were men in our lives. Some may have not have had some, but there was somebody that just said a couple of things, a couple of words that helped us along the way, and we still remember now. And if you don't have any, then taking up some of these mentor programs is going to be crucial to your being raised up right, or just your upbringing, like, or the trajectory of your future. I'm telling you, link in with someone who has a mentor, and there's plenty of mentor programs out. If you just sign up with yours, or if they didn't know about yours, Google and just ask around, and I'm sure you'll find some type of program that you can get signed up with to be either a mentor or be the person that's being mentored, so that you can have that positive reinforcement just in your ear, sowing those seeds into your mind, sowing into you, and just making sure that you grow from that. And so I think that's a great thing that you're doing, man, because we need more men and leaders like that. So,
man, I no longer work for corporate America, but I tell you one thing: working for AT&T really, really, really set me up to where I need to be right now. Cause I'll tell you this: I definitely would not be the man I am today if it wasn't for my mentors. From my personal mentor, shout out to Kenny Boyd. From my mans, to my work employed, to my work mentors, the whole nine, bro. I had a man when I left Louisville in 13. The call center I left from, and I don't know if Miss Moore is gonna watch this, but I had a manager at AT&T in Louisville. Her name was Stephanie Moore, and she wasn't my mentor, but she was somebody that was close. She was the leader of our training class, and then she was a manager in the center as well.
Okay.
One thing she told me before I left was to get a mentor and join the ERG, and the ERG was our employee resource groups, and basically it's 13. It was 13 of them, and it's different ethnicities as far as the resource groups go. But we had a big old conference, bro, and I got me a mentor, and my mentor, when the conference came around, my mentor made it so easy for me to get to the people that I needed to get to because she already knew them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And me being me, I've always been. I got my degrees in communication, so I've always been one to open my mouth. So I've always had a good network. So just to give you an example, my first ERG I went to, my mentor told me to go introduce myself to another lady, and the lady was a VP, and she was her mentor, and she wanted me to just introduce myself. Her name was Kendra Davis. She was like, when you see Kendra, just tell her who you are. That's all you gotta do.
Mm-hmm.
Bet. So we at the conference, about to go home that night, and I seen Kendra, and Kendra was with two individuals. One of the guys was a director of the center where I was at. So I had already opened up. We already was locked in. Shout out to Mr. Moore, Tyrone Moore. Seen him and her and another gentleman, and I was like, all right, bet I'm gonna go ahead and introduce myself to Kendra. The rest is history. I walked up. Excuse me, Mr. Moore. How you doing, sir? Because the individual was taller than me. I'm 6'3". This man was like 6'6", 6'7".
Oh man.
Excuse me, sir. How you doing? Miss Davis. My name is Chris. My mentor Gia told me to introduce myself to you. I got a master's degree in communication. I'm out here by the way of Louisville, Kentucky. I'm just looking to advance my career. In the midst of saying that, the individual that was 6'6", 6'7", he was a VP in sales, and his name is Anthony Tuggle. Shout out to AT. Mr. Anthony excused me and Kendra and came to me and was like, your name is what? You do what? And you got what? And I repeated myself, and he said, send me your resume. I got a position for you. Man, changed my whole life. From there, I went into sales, and the rest is history. Like, the rest is history. I'm talking about the time that I had in my sales field, I completely enjoyed, because it started out on some Wolf of Wall Street type ordeal. You ever seen that?
Yes.
So it wasn't as serious as that,
Uh-huh.
but it was something that I had never seen. Because where I came from in Louisville, we was in a call center. It wasn't nothing like this. It was just a call center atmosphere, computers, desk, call center.
Mm-hmm.
I come here to Dallas, and I start working as a dispatcher. And me being a dispatcher, the building that we was in, it was basically like where trucks used to come and load and unload. They done turned it into an office. So it's computers and it's desk, but it's no windows. It's 2 doors. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta pretty much just sit there and do work.
Right.
I leave there and I head to sales, and over here you got people playing basketball on this little Nerf thing. You got people doing putt-putt. You got music being played. I'm talking about the atmosphere is vibrant, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, this is where I need to be. I'm in there every day making $300, $400, $500 a day just selling cell phones, TV, internet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about our director coming through every day with her Louis bag. I'm talking about we getting rewarded for it. Man, it's a whole vibe, bro. Then they moved the cheese. They took the money and sent it somewhere else. But nah, our director dipped and everything went downhill. But for the time being, bro, it was live. But I literally learned everything I needed to learn as far as mentoring. Not everything, because I ain't where I'm gonna be in 10 years, but I am not where I was 10 years ago neither. Mm-hmm. But I learned a lot, bro, and it was definitely needed. And I appreciate the time that I spent with AT&T, but I had to kick them to deuces last year to do what I need to do per God.
Oh yeah. Hey, you're on your way, man. And that right there shows me the power of being around the right people. Kind of ties into that discipline, which is like one of my 4 things that I talk about with the strategy of having that mindset. One of those is to surround yourself with like-minded people, and the other three being set goals, create habits, and time management. All four are going to be primary factors in doing it. Like, I guess I would say, to do it, if you didn't have a mentor, 4 things that you can start with to get in the right direction. And that's why I said one of them, set goals. Thing I like about setting goals is that I often try to compare it with sailing. Now, the wind, you have no control of the wind. It's going back to what you can control versus what you can't. You have no control of the wind. But when a sailboat sets sail, they can go where they need to go if they know where they're going. Set, go. If you know where you're going, you're going to end up there. No doubt about it, because you'll do what it takes to get there. Now, the thing about the sailboat is that you can set the sails in different directions, and the wind can take you where you need it to go. So you're going counter with what the wind is doing. There's only one position that you can't go in if the wind is blowing, and that's if it's a headwind coming straight at you. But you can set your sail to where you can still go forward. You just have to zigzag your way to that direction if you're headed toward the way the wind is blowing. So even if the wind is blowing in opposition of where you're trying to go, like the wind you're facing headwinds, there's still a way that you can angle yourself. It may take a little longer. You may not be able to go straight directly to it, but you can kind of zigzag your way to straight in the direction of the way the wind is going. And it's the same way in life. It's the same way with your. All this is still in your mindset of doing what you need to do for a healthy body. It's different, small little things to set your goal. I'll give you another example. I'm going down a rabbit hole now. It's February. If it's clocked in, maybe you're looking at this a little later. But February, people set fitness goals. Beginning of the year. And then, we saw it because we're in there daily. We see the people come in, and seems like this year they were out in 2 weeks. You set a goal. What happens is the goal is just too flimsy. I want to lose weight. I want to lose 100 pounds this year. Like, that's a goal, but it's not specific. I give you a good example because we've been going so long. There are people that go and they say, okay, I have a vacation in July. You see them in there every day. And you see them in there every day because they have set a goal that they can see, that they know for sure, that is more specific than I just want to lose weight. I am going somewhere on this date in July. And so you see them prepare month after month until July. And then after July, you don't see them anymore. After the vacation, you don't see them anymore because the goal was to get to that point. And now they fall off. And it's the same thing with what we do, man. It's if you set a specific goal on this day, this is what's going to happen, or this is where I would like to be. Now, if you see that you're not getting to that goal, then you can adjust it accordingly. But this takes some self-reflection. This takes some self-assessments. You have to assess the situation, assess yourself, and see if that's something that you need to adjust. That's when you start getting into really, really practical things. Let's say that you set this goal. It's specific. In 2 months, I'd like to do this and such. And there's a set thing behind this. It's more detailed. There's something in it for you other than just losing weight. It's something even more concrete. If you are having trouble getting to the gym, how about set up your life in a way that you have to go to the gym? In order to get to work, what I did is I was having a problem getting up early in the morning to go to the gym. So what I did is I set up my clothes to be basically I put on my workout gear and I go to the gym in my workout gear. I have my clothes and the bags and my gym bag, and I get dressed to go to work at the gym. What this triggers is I have to go to the gym in order to get dressed to go to work. So I put on my gym clothes and I'm going straight to the gym. And since then I've been going consecutively, and now it's a habit. It's the same way if you're having trouble waking up. How about set 2 alarms? One alarm will trigger you to wake up. Now you can put it on. You don't even have to put it on snooze. You just turn it off. Now you got another alarm. When that alarm goes up, it's going to trigger you to go ahead and get up because you're already out of that REM sleep or RIM, one of them, REM sleep. And once you're out of that REM sleep, it'll be a little bit more easier to go ahead and get up. So set 2 alarms, put your shoes right there by your bed, and put them on as soon as you get up, or however you want to do it in your routine, and you'll start to see that you go to the gym more and more until it becomes a habit. Until once you do it enough, like anything, it becomes a habit. That's how you break bad habits, and that's how you form those good ones. The other part, I'm gonna let you. I see you chomping at the bit.
You good?
Okay, so creating. Okay, before I get to time management, the habit. There's a book by Charles Duhigg called the Power of Habit. Power of Habit. Charles Duhigg. He was a writer, but he does some detailed research, and based on a lot of his studies from different research, he found that scientific research is there's a thing that's called chunking, where your brain takes everything that you do routinely and chunks it into one instruction. I give you a good example. I got to give an example. When you learned how to drive, remember when your first day of driving, you got in the car, you put the keys in the ignition, you turned it on, you set the rear view mirror, you looked in the side mirror, the other side mirror was right. You put the car in reverse. Now you're looking back, you got your hands on your wheel, and you're trying to make sure you push your gas, and you press and then if you were like me, I pressed the gas and the brake with 2 feet, with both feet. And so, I mean, you remember all of that. Now, sometimes I go to work and man, I don't even if you just think about Wednesday, how you got to work, you be like, I don't know, I just got to work. Sometimes you think back on it and you don't even remember that. You don't remember the drive. You don't remember how, which route you went, because your brain has taken all of those instructions and made it one instruction.
Autopilot.
It's on autopilot. It's like what we like to call it, but they call it chunking. And so I give you another example. When you headed back from work, let's say your spouse told you, "Hey, I need you to pick up something from Walmart." Man, once you hit that route,
Forgot it.
when you pull up, they're like, "Oh, hey, what did you stop by?" I'm like, "Oh man, I forgot." Or you wanted to go a different way, your brain went into autopilot. It took all of those instructions that you normally take, and it does this as a form of not using as much energy, so that it kind of reserves brain power. So to save as much energy, your brain works efficiently, and if it tries to cut as many corners as possible, as far as using up a lot of energy and everything. And so you can use this for your advantage if you know about it. That's the power of knowing about your body, knowing how your body functions and all of those different things. And when you can set habits like that, because you can kind of manipulate it. The marketers know this, salespeople know this, the record industry knows this. Back when the radio was a big deal, your popular song comes on. The one that you waiting on. Yeah. As soon as that song goes off, they put in a new song. Yep. They put in a new song and they sandwich it in with the popular songs. It's so effective that you can hear that new song and say, "Oh man, I don't like this, man. This song is whack." But they play it enough.
So much.
It goes into this. It goes into you, man, to where when you hear it, it becomes familiar to you. So it kind of tells your brain, it tricks your brain into thinking that it's a good song. It's just a familiar song. And so now you like this song because you've heard it so much, and they play it, and it's one of the popular songs as well. They did this for years, and they made so much money off of it by sandwiching the new songs in to get everybody familiar with them until it becomes something that they're familiar with. And with anything, man, it goes into autopilot. Your brain is tricked into thinking that that's a good song. That's the power of creating habits, man. It's important that we can use that to our advantage, create positive habits, and we'll see ourselves going to the gym. We'll see ourselves eating right. Another one, if you fix your food on Sunday, go ahead and put all of your meals together so that you can have the healthy meal that you want. And when the week comes, you're just picking up the one that you've already set Sunday. You're just picking it up out the refrigerator, and you got your meal. and you're good. It's healthy. You're not going to the restaurant and eating a big meal and messing up your routine. Just all different types of little small things that you can do to kind of create this chunking that we're talking about, and that habit of doing positive, healthy things. As far as having that mindset, I mean, it works, man.
Man, I'm about to tie it all in, and it's just amazing how knowledge and how wisdom works, bro. Um, so it's a guy named Bob Proctor that I've been studying since I've been looking to figure out myself as far as 2016 and Muhammad Ali goes. Um, Bob Proctor says that everything is energy. Everything is energy. When you was talking about your body and your mind and working on autopilot and it saving energy, it literally is all about energy. And what you think as far as your mental goes, that's energy vibrating to the infinite intelligence. I didn't want to say it, but I'll go ahead and break the infinite. That to the infinite intelligence, to the one mind, because we're all one mind. And just as you said the other day, that your body is what you put into it, as far as what you consume. What you're talking about as far as the chunking goes, and the autopilot, Bob Proctor calls that our habitual habits, our habitual behaviors, not our habitual habits, our habitual behaviors, which are pretty much our habits. You know what I'm saying? From the way we walk to the way we talk to the way we move. You know what I'm saying? And he goes to the point of saying that he can ask you a question about how much money you made ever, and he can tell you what your habits are.
That's very impressive, right there.
So legit, he be like, the reason why people who the reason why people fail to accumulate riches, and he knows this because he studied Napoleon Hill Think and Grow Rich book every day of his life for the last 60 years.
Mm-hmm.
One of the main things with anything is and literally in this Think and Grow Rich book, chapter 8 is decisions. And it states that people who accumulate riches well over the $1 million mark make decisions very fast and very seldomly change their decisions when they're made, versus people who don't. They make decisions very slowly, and then they change them very often.
Mm.
And when you say get in the sailboat and have a vision on where you're going, have an idea on where you want to go. If you don't, you're just gonna be sailing. The other day I was reading and it says hold the perfect vision without wavering. Hold the perfect vision. You have to know where you're going. You have to know what you're doing. You mentioned for people to set 2 alarms to get up. Bro, I kid you not. Nowadays, I don't even have to set an alarm. My kids don't even have to get up. Bro, I literally will wake up at 5 o'clock
Mm-hmm.
every day. No alarm.
Right.
And when I get up and I am aware that I am awake, I'm not going back to sleep. I'm on a mission, bro. I'm on a mission. All of my energy is focused on 40,000. And when I say the way I move, it's bringing it to me. It's exactly what you're saying, bro. It's literally exactly what you're saying. You are what you put in. One of my favorite books outside of Think and Grow Rich, bro, is The Four Agreements. I can read Don Miguel all day long, bro, because the information that is coming out of that book, bro, is vital. Vital. First agreement, be impeccable with your word. You can kill or build with the power of your tongue. In the beginning, there was God, and God said, "Let there be light." Be impeccable with your word. The second one, don't take anything personal. It goes to the point of him saying, if someone was to walk up and shoot you in your head, that has nothing to do with you. It is all on them. The third one, do not make assumptions. Do not make assumptions. Don't assume nothing. And the fourth one is always do your best.
Man.
Now he says with that always do your best is not going to be the same. There's going to be times that you're, and I hate to say it, there's going to be times that you're intoxicated. There's going to be times that you're tired. There's going to be times that you just don't want to. But guess what? Here comes that D word. You have to have discipline to do what you need to do to get where you're going.
That is absolutely correct, man.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's interesting that you say that because a lot of stuff that you were saying, some of it I haven't read. I've read, I read Think and Grow Rich kind of when I was a teenager, and then a couple of other ones. Some of them I haven't read, and because, all of them kind of sound similar. What's interesting is that those 4 agreements, like I kind of go by those, and I never even read their book. I mean, because a lot of times, a lot of those things are just natural. Mm-hmm. If you have any type of understanding, that's just natural things. Now, of course, some of people, it's not as natural to them. But I mean, what did you say? The first one was
be impeccable with your word.
Right, your word, the power in your tongue. Mm-hmm. What was the second one?
Don't take nothing personal.
Don't take anything personal. I wrote something down just to kind of clear my mind and notes and everything. And I said to myself when we were preparing, is blame versus responsibility. Blame is you making an individual making a moral decision about someone else, saying that based on what I know, they should have known better to make the right moral decision. So you have to make a judgment to say to know their mind and to say that, okay, I think that they think this way, and therefore I place the blame on them, versus responsibility. Someone does something to you, you take responsibility for what you can, not for the action, but take responsibility to do the right thing in response to what they've done.
Facts.
What's the third one?
Don't make assumptions.
Don't make assumptions. Assuming someone is doing something is, I mean, I don't know any mind readers that are legit. That's to say that the thought process and the intention of someone by just watching their actions. Let me tell you something. Most people don't know their intentions when they do actions, man. You know what I'm saying? So how can I know your intentions if I don't even understand my own actions?
My bad, bro. It goes back to, I'm sorry, I had to.
Go ahead.
It goes back to seeing. It goes back to having that vision. It goes back to knowing what you want to do. Your intentions. You have to move intentional.
Exactly. And do your best. I mean, do your best. Do everything decent and in order. Do what you can, and if you can do what you can and do your best, then it'll compound if you continue to do it. Like, you naturally do better than others because a lot of people don't do their best. Now, some of the stuff that you're saying can be found in the scripture, man. Because they're
all of it.
They're I mean, it's written in nature.
Yep.
That's why some people can write a book after they've discovered it, and I can just go to the book and I've learned it and I see it. And so and what the scripture does is it transforms your heart and your mind, and it does the same effect that's for knowledge turns into understanding, turns into wisdom. That's one way of it. But for the believer, watch this. So powerful. When we read scripture, I don't have to go to any man's writing, any other person's writing, which they've gotten insight off of natural things that just occur in nature because of the how God has designed it. And so that's why a lot of wealthy people are wealthy, and they talk about being generous. They talk about giving back because they've learned through their experience that when you do this and be generous, the more you give, the more you'll receive.
Yeah.
Now that's, of course, we find that in the Bible, but a lot of people who have not even read the Bible can discover these things on like just by doing them. Now, here's the thing, because I went off my point is I lost my point just that quick.
You was talking about the Bible and reading.
Oh, that's it. Okay. Now with the Bible, same thing applies, but one difference: knowledge. A lot of people know about it. That's the level of the people learning some of the different principles, and they apply them principles, and they see that they work. That's knowledge. But guess what? There's a difference that separates the believer from anybody else, and that's the understanding. Once you get the understanding, then it turns into conviction. Instead of wisdom, it turns into conviction. And what conviction is when you get enough of it in you, it starts to change. Now, you remember how we talked about conformed to the thoughts and the different things that you receive, and you conform. Basically, you change according to the things that you've seen. Now, with the Bible, it convicts you, the words that you receive, you understand them, and now these understanding turns into a conviction, and you stick to what you've learned and the word that changes you because it's alive. That's the power that of the word. Going directly through that, you start to understand all of the other things as well. It's so important, man. That's some good stuff, man.
Yes, sir. Man. I'm gonna leave him with this just because it all ties in, and it goes back to one of the main questions that I'm gonna be asking before and after I meet with all these youth, these young men, and that question is, who do you believe in? And that question is so powerful because at the beginning, 9 times out of 10, they're not gonna give me the answer that I want. And that answer that I want and that I'm looking for is themselves. I need them to be able to, and this is anybody, man. Before you can believe in God and Jesus and your mom and your dad and anybody else, you gotta believe in yourself. You're not with nobody else. No more than you with yourself, boy. I'm telling you, all the time. And I know you know that little head in that little mind, that little voice in your head. It can be boy. It can be your best friend or it can be your worst enemy. It can be your best friend or it can be your worst enemy. But one thing for sure, though, that voice in your head is not you. You the person that's hearing that voice in your head. And that's the separation. But I say all of that to say that if you want to do anything, you want to be anything, you want to achieve anything, it's gonna start with your mind. It's gonna start with a positive mental attitude, and you're gonna have to believe in yourself. Love yourself, believe in yourself. That way you can love and believe in anybody and everybody else.
Hey, that's powerful, man. I know you. Let me go ahead and say it. Now, when Jesus was, everything is got to go back. When Jesus was telling the people, like, look, now is a new covenant, basically a new way, new running things. You don't have to go by the law. He told them, have faith in me. Watch this. This is what he also told them. They asked him about those 10 commandments and the different laws and everything. Mm-hmm. He said, so powerful. He said, let me tell you, love God with your heart, soul, mind, strength, basically everything within you. Then it says this, the second part of it, like basically wrapped up the first 5 in love God, with your heart, soul, mind, and strength. All the first 5 wrapped up in that. The last 5 wrapped up in the second part of what he said, and that's to love your neighbor. But everybody forgets the second part, as yourself.
As yourself.
You're not going to do anything harmful to yourself. At least you're not supposed to. Treat your neighbor as yourself. There's a self-love is wrapped up in that. Yep. And he's saying, like, look, I want you to treat your neighbor like you treat yourself. So it's important that we have that understanding that, like, this isn't something that we're coming up out of thin air. And it's important that you know whose you are and what you are. And when you love yourself, you'll be able to see how you can love others and one another. And it's almost like it's written in, like, yeah, you know, you're not going to do that with yourself. So I want you to treat him how you would yourself. You're going to keep yourself up. I want you to keep your brother up as well.
Man. And that's where we gonna leave it off at, cuz at the end of the day, man, jeez Louise, bro, I can't do no third one. Can't do no third one. But nah, for real say though. They say when you want to figure out what you want to do, figure out your purpose in life, they say go back to when you're childlike, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's one of the first things you learn growing up? The golden rule, bro. The golden rule. Everybody knows the golden rule.
Mm-hmm.
Do unto others as you want them to do unto you. That's it.
That's it.
That's life. That is the game and how to play it. Everything that we need to know is in the Bible. Everything that is in this book came from the Bible. Everything that's in my other book, The Game of Life and How to Play It by Lauren Scovel Shinn, she starts out stating the whatever you sow, you'll reap. Muhammad Ali. Look, it's it. Do unto others as you want them to do unto you, and have discipline. Get a vision. See where you're going. Don't waver. Get in that sailboat. No matter how hard that wind blows, no matter what direction that wind blows in, you got to steer your sailboat to go in the direction you want it to go in. Silas, man, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you, man. And honestly, if we don't continue the conversation, I feel like I got me a co-host. I don't know about y'all, but man, we seem to be too locked in, bro. And like you said, man, you gotta surround yourself by like-minded individuals. But you already know we locked in. We have conversations outside of this. We're gonna stay locked in. But man, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for your blessings, bro. Thank you for your blessings. Thank you for your light. Thank you for your guidance, bro. Continue to be the father, the leader, the God-fearing individual you are, bro. I appreciate you and I love you.
Oh, man, love you too, man. Thank you for having me. Glad to be here. And, man, anytime you need me, just hit me up. And I'm going to make my way over here, man, to see how I can help you out, because I think it's a great thing that you're doing. I'm trying to get behind anybody who is willing to put themselves out there to reach as many youth and young men as possible, especially in times like this. I think it's important for men to be men and to step up and put their arms around these young people who just need to see an example of a real man.
And that's the goal, bro. 40,000, all moving as one, and we're going to do that. Before I let you go, man, you ain't know I was going to do this, but I am. For those of you all who know me, I am an author. I have my book here, Youth Alive, Journey of 1,000 Miles Begins with One Step, man. I'm going to give this to you, brother. I want you to tap into that, man. I want you to read that and let me know what you think.
Okay.
For everybody else, if you want to purchase that, you can get it on Amazon. Amazon.com. Or you can contact me personal. I can be reached at social media, Instagram, Endure the Process, INC, Facebook, first name, last name, Chris Williams. Everything else is irrelevant. Silas, man, you on any social media? Active anything? Got any way that people can reach you?
Man, I have a social media, but I haven't been doing what I needed to do on it. It's at Silas W. If you're interested in checking me out, but there's nothing on there. I look forward to maybe getting on there in the future. So just kind of look out for that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's Instagram at Silas W.
My man. Well, again, I appreciate you, brother.
I'm glad to be here, man. I'm gonna need my book signed too.
Oh, I got you.
Okay,
I
cool,
got you.
cool.
For sure. Man, until we meet again, peoples, y'all know this is the You Are the Light podcast. I am your host, Chris, a.k.a. C. Millie. They call me C. Millie because I'm about to touch a Millie. Hey, and we out.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure.